welcome to Spirit Switchboard. I'm your host, Kerrilynn, and you are listening to us live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 in the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans. If you are interested in checking out all of the other amazing shows that UPRN has to offer, you can head to uprntalkradio.com and find out more about the shows and hosts and all the amazing things that we have going on. There's always new shows coming on board to be part of the UPRN family. And word is we're getting an shushed up new website with lots of different things for you to check out. So also, if you are liking what Spirit Switchboard has to offer, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and telling your friends all about it. I hope everybody is having a good or has had a good week. It is the Lionsgate portal today, the 888. So get your manifesting chops on. And I do think like some of it is intention because like when we talk about Laura Lee Potvin, our host of the Angel Rock and I co-host Beneath the Hollow Moon on Thursdays with. We had this chat prior to the show today about different time zones, different places in the world, and I do think it's about intention in what we're doing. So I think that that also plays a part. But it is an auspicious. I think that's the right way of saying it. Auspicious time to be manifesting. What do you want to release? What are you grateful for? And what are you willing to allow the universe to bring into your world? What gifts are you willing to receive? What is it that you're trying to manifest? So setting that intention out tonight is a good plan. I'm just going to give everybody the heads up now. Next week will be a replay. I haven't quite decided. If you have a thought of a show that you maybe missed or one that you super liked and would be interested in listening to or watching again, drop a comment or send me a message and we can set that one up. Next week, I am doing a charity event, fundraiser event for the Brant County Museum in Brantford, Ontario with the Ontario Paranormal Society. So we won't be having a live show next week. Next week will be a replay. Hello, everyone. Hello. Oh, Sandra and Randy, hello. Thank you guys so much for being here. Jody, thank you so much. Jody is also saying hello to our guest, Julie Jeanne, Astrolite Paranormal, Victoria and family. Thank you so much for being here. Joanna, thank you for being here. Christina Watts, Julie Dow, Teresa Loft, James Gard, Julie Dow. Thank you so much. One of the things I was going to do really quickly for you guys, for our listeners and for those folks that are in the chat with us tonight, I have these 2 decks of cards, and I thought it would be fun. I've not done this before, so new things, right? Try new things, step outside of the box, switch up perspectives, see how things unfold. When I turned 50, hello, Carrie. When I turned 50, my friend Jackie bought me 2 decks of cards. She's also an animal communicator. And it was the Divine Dog Wisdom cards and these, the Cosmic Cat. So I thought it would be fun to pull a card from each deck as a message for everybody that's participating or who will be participating. So we'll do that really quickly. Hi, Laura Lee. I was just talking about the Lionsgate portal and intentions. So I shuffled and I pulled from the Divine Dogs first. Expression, speak your truth. That's a good one. And some of us have trouble. So especially if we're recovering people pleasers, speaking our truth is a very big lesson. maybe we can, once we get Julie out here, talk about how maybe some of those messages get incorporated with our soul contracts with our pets, how they help us with that. All right, cosmic cats. Our cosmic cat, we have, so when my daughter moved out and started her adulty life, she took our two cats. So she has Arkham and Eartha May. So Eartha May is named after Eartha Kitt, who was like, I always feel like she's one of the OG cat women from Batman. So Arkham from the Insane Asylum, from Batman. Hello, Michelle Plummer, Heather Fugard, Dan Costa. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Jackie, look, I'm pulling the cards that you got me. Don't know if you saw already. So expression, speak your truth. Hello, Stephanie Malo. Look at, so the cosmic cat cards, self-confidence, stand your ground. How interesting. But our poor Arkham had to have surgery this week. So if you guys want to hold him in your thoughts, I would appreciate it. It is the lead up to a bigger surgery that he's going to need to have. And it's not an if, it will be a when. So I would appreciate all the that support if you wouldn't mind sending it to our lovely Arkham. I would be appreciative. Oh, thank you, Jackie. I appreciate the gift. So without further ado, please welcome to the show shamanic practitioner and animal communicator, Julie Jeanne Bassett. Let's see if this works. Are we getting there? There we go. Hi, Julie.
Hello. And I'm so sorry to hear about your fur baby. Sending you so much love, prayers, and healing light for a quick and complete recovery.
Thank you. He's so sweet. He's a ragdoll cat. He's like a dog. He's very sweet and lovely. So I know that you have helped me in the past with my Nora, who I love and adore, but she's been my most challenging, my challenging pet to date for sure. She has been my most challenging pet to date. And I had reached out to you to see if you could help me with one of my pets, and with a dear friend and her cat. Joanna is here saying hello, Julie, from Ella and I. So, and I know that it was monumental. And Laura Lee has had you on the Angel Rock a number of times, and you've helped Laura Lee as well too. And what you're able to do is amazing. And like we benefit so much from you sharing your knowledge and your time in helping us. I'm very grateful.
I'm happy to be of service. I like being the voice of the animals to help them and their guardians have a better relationship.
And that's really what it's all about. Like, and I'll tell you, Miss Nora and I at one point I was going to give her away, rehome Nora. I was going to rehome Nora. And I found this lady and we were texting. Nora was the exact breed, a crossbreed that she had, and she had to put one of her dogs down. And so she was just, wanting another dog similar to Nora. And we were texting back and forth. And she said to me, my husband and I have been talking, and it really does sound like you've bonded so much with your Nora. We don't want to take her, but we will be your sounding board. So this complete stranger that I'm texting was like, we will just be the sounding board for you while you work through your growing pains. with Nora. But I was so grateful because she was right. I mean, we're 5 years in now, and it was that first 6 months was horrible growing pains and transition pains with her. But sometimes we need that extra support system, and that you offer that is wonderful.
Yes. And that could have been part of her soul contract with you.
Oh,
To have you learn patience.
Do you know, I patience is definitely a thing. And I had one of my kiddos tell me that. So one of my children said to me in the car when he was 4 years old, and he's now 32, that I didn't need to be sad when he died, because when he died, he was going to go back to be in heaven with God. And I didn't talk about God or church or religion or anything when they were small. And he said that his brother and him were friends in heaven, and they chose to be brothers in this lifetime to help teach me patience. And I'm like, oh, man.
Kids and animals have such a connection with spirit that we all, as adults, either kind of shoved it aside or were told that, oh, that's just your imagination. And so we shut it off. But when we were that young, yeah, we saw spirits. Those were our imaginary friends.
Exactly. And I feel for Nora, because I had Bruce, and they're the same age. So I was having a bad uterus day. I was having a uterus moment, and I brought Nora home. It was like, oh, I just want something else to love. I just need another baby in the house. Oh, look at her. And it wasn't a well thought out, but it was what it was. So divine timing, whatever it was. But I was assuming that she would be like Bruce. And that was my issue, my projection on her. And she wasn't Bruce. She wasn't. She needed play and interactive, where she could use her smarts and puzzle thinking and problem solving. And then once I figured that out, it's been much better. Like, until the other issue about not liking being outside, but that has improved greatly.
Awesome.
Stephanie, you're so welcome. It's hard. Like, not a lot of people want to share the hard side of pets or admit a mistake and wanting to have accountability and grow and learn from it, so we can be better pet parents, right? So Stephanie's sharing, I'm so glad you mentioned that, considering rehoming a pet. We have reduced 4 cats, and one of them we struggle with. She doesn't interact. She seems off. We can't catch her to take her to the vet. Oh, we have rescued 4 cats, and one is having an issue.
Could be the energy is off.
Oh, my pets know when I'm off, and then they stick to me like glue.
Well, humans have 7 major chakras. Animals actually have 9. One of those is a brachial chakra, and it kind of oversees all the other chakras. But when it's out of balance, and it's also responsible for the human-animal bond. But when it's out of balance, there's going to be a disconnection between the guardian and the animal.
Oh.
So that might be something to consider, is, having her chakras aligned.
Oh, so Stephanie is saying the energy of the cat or me or both. So potentially both. Oh, so Stephanie is saying I sang to her regularly at one point and she got better.
Animals are very receptive to music. They have dog calming music and cat calming music free on YouTube. I recommend that a lot to people that have pets that have a lot of anxiety. It just helps calm them.
That's amazing. Well, when we had our session, there was like those aha moments. I used Rescue Remedy for my children when they were younger. I never even thought about using it on Nora.
Yeah, they've got a version for pets, and it is all natural. It is like a flower remedy, different flowers, and it just helps calm them. And you put it in their water and not their food, or I'm sorry, you put it in their food, not their water, because water dilutes it out too much. But it is very effective and calming, and it's a heck of a lot better than the animal Xanax or whatever they're using these days to try and medically calm the animal.
I hadn't considered that, because, yeah, rescue remedy would be the route I would go first.
Yeah, a lot of times the so-called vet remedies, the Xanax and things like that, Xanax, actually have the opposite effect. It had the opposite effect on my cats when we were trying to move, and they were like holy terrors.
Wow.
Never doing
So
that
I
again.
would like to back up. I know that I started us sideways, so I'm going to just back up a wee bit. The very first pet that you ever loved, your very first pet. Can you tell us who that was? Their name, who it was, what it was?
The very first pet I had was a dog my parents had before I was even born. They got it as a puppy, and it was a German Shepherd named Tina. And we basically grew up together. I'm an only child, so Tina was my sister. I would cry on her shoulder. She was my safe zone. And, one day she ran away. I think I was like 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. Devastated me. But by that time, she had gotten older. She had gotten like mange. And now that I look back on it, either she ran off to pass on her own, or my parents didn't want to tell me that they had her euthanized. But I was devastated by that loss. But I had always had a connection to her. I always knew how she was feeling. She always knew how I was feeling and would come if I was sad or something. And that was the first pet I had.
Do you ever feel your pets that are crossed over come through to work with you or help be part of your divine team when you're doing your work, whether it's shamanic or animal communication, or however that blends? Are they part of your divine team?
Absolutely. Even some of the animals that I've helped along the way, like there was a Einstein, which is a Great Pyrenees, beautiful dog that had gotten lost in the desert. Tried to help find him. Well, he had passed, and but shortly thereafter, I felt him rubbing against my leg. And I knew it was him because of how soft and fluffy and he was. And he's on my team now. So, and I've got a lot of most of my past pets and most of my stepmom's past pets are also still with me and part of my team.
I love that. When I am doing mediumship, pets will come through. But people who have watched me do my work, or especially live, at live events, they always, they laugh at me anyway, because the pets wig me out. Pets touch me. Pets stay the same when they're crossed over. Like they come in with that big energy, or they bump up against, or cats will do that like rub thing that they do. Do you find when you're doing your work, if people do people in spirit pop in? And what is that like for you? Is it the opposite for you? Do people in spirit wig you out and you'd rather the animals?
Well, funny you should ask. One of my most recent clients was a gentleman, and his dog had passed. And so I was telling him, oh, well, she's going to send you these butterflies. And it's like, well, wait, what about black butterflies? Because I'm seeing black butterflies. And I think I said yellow butterflies. I said, no, she's sending you yellow butterflies. But then the person that was sending the black butterflies came in and had a message for him.
Oh.
And it's like, you know, your grandmother is here. Are you open to a message from her? And so he agreed. And so he got very emotional because he wasn't expecting that. He didn't realize that that was his grandmother coming through whenever he saw these black butterflies, and now the yellow butterflies. And so it was a very profound session.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I make sure I don't want people to associate me with doing animal communication or having pets coming through. I say, yes, it's a hit and miss, but like, don't expect that to be the major part of what I do, because it's not, right? I want to bring up some of the comments from our chat for you. Joanna is saying that they use Bach flower remedies, which is amazing. Jackie is sharing, I played cat Reiki music for my Phoebe while waiting for the vet to come in the room. It also calmed vet tech staff as they entered the room.
Yeah. Yeah, it affects us as well.
James, hello, James. Thank you for being here. So the Wiz is sharing, my Scottish granddad used to have a radio in our chicken coop for the hens, and they would lay lots of eggs.
Yes.
I'm going to ask my parents. I'm going to ask my parents why we didn't have a radio in our chicken coop.
Yeah, I've heard it increases egg production. It has a calming effect, and when hens are calm, they produce more eggs.
Amazing. Hello, Deborah Morse, my dear friend. Deb is sharing, during scary fireworks, my cat stays in the closet with an iPad and videos of birds with lots of bird song. Much calmer distraction.
Love it.
My dear friend Douglas Atchison Sr., I had a golden lab named Buddy. I used to sing to him the song Bud the Spud from the Bright Red Mud by Stompin' Tom Connors, and he loved that song.
Yeah, I have songs coming from animals all the time.
Really? So animals will give you songs?
Yes.
Amazing. Oh, I know. So Victoria's sharing, Afterlife Paranormal is sharing, my beloved cat Whisper passed just over a month ago. She now guides me from the other side and is now part of my divine team. I communicate with her every day.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hello, Vet Girl 84. Thank you so much for being here. Carrie Fast, thank you so much. Carrie is sharing, I'm noticing a trend with past dogs and cats in my life are definitely soul family, team of guides from my starseed family. I have heard of someone playing classical music in a barn produce more milk for the cows. That's interesting. So if we talk about being part of our soul family and divine team, do we create soul contracts with our pets before they incarnate, before we incarnate? How does that work?
Their souls are very intelligent. From my understanding, all of that is prearranged. before they even enter our lives or before they even incarnate. Um, they already have a plan of when they're going to, why they're going to be in our lives, how they're going to show up in our lives. They also are going to know how they're going to pass and what lessons they are going to teach us, because they are some amazing teachers for us. We just need to listen.
So if we are not understanding or not grasping the lesson they are providing that we have agreed to, right? So our soul has agreed. So if we are not consciously aware of what that soul lesson is that when things can go sideways with our pet? Do they just walk off and go, yep, not going to happen in this lifetime, so I'm out of here? What sort of things? And hello, Sparky's Paranormal. Thank you so much for being here. He is saying hello to you too, Julie. Sparky's Paranormal.
No, they don't necessarily walk off because of that. They will walk off if their soul mission is complete with us, or sometimes they've done all they can do for us at the time, and then they might leave to because it's their time to pass, to leave their body, or they have another mission that they need to work on. You know, sometimes they will go and find another human family to integrate into. Sometimes they will become sustenance for another animal. But that's their choice. And they, you know, people always are worried about, did they feel pain? Or animals do not fear death. It's just like taking off their fursuit. It's just a part of life. And that's one of the things that they try and help us with, is to understand death and understand the grieving process. Because the more you grieve, the less emotional it gets. You know, it's always going to be emotional, but you are better able to handle it.
Right. I'm more peaceful.
It's more peaceful. And like I said, they don't fear death. And most of the time when we think that they're in pain, they've already left their body. Their soul has already left their body, and it's just that physical piece there. And sometimes when you see them jolt or towards the end, sometimes they'll get a burst of energy, but that is cutting that final cord with their attachment to their physical body.
Gotcha.
But generally, if they're like hit by a car or something like that, they've already left their body. They know it's going to happen. They know they're going to die. And it's like, check you later. I'm done with this body.
We still harbor the lessons around that. If we didn't shut the gate proper, or the door got unlocked, or like we still have those things to process.
Right. But animals don't want us to feel guilty. They know exactly what they're doing. And that is part of our life lessons, is to not beat ourselves up.
Interesting.
And because I've had many animals come to me that have passed and said, you know, please don't feel guilty. You did all you could do, especially like if they're questioning whether they euthanized too soon or too late. And it's like, I saw what was in your heart. I knew that you were doing what you thought was best for me. And that is perfect. That was perfect. And so, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask then, like, I see that with sessions that I do. There's a theme. There tends to be a theme for the week, like the theme that happens. So is that the similar for you too? Is there a similar theme to lessons or soul contracts between pet parents and their fur babies?
Yes, in fact, I've had some play tricks on me because I'll, as part of the validation, I'll try and figure out how they died. And so I guess I wasn't being specific enough because when I said, oh, they died from this way, and they said, no, they died this way. It's like, okay. So I went back to the animal and said, what's going on here? Says, well, you weren't specific. I've had many lives during her incarnation. You just asked me which, how I died. I just gave you a random one. You didn't specify when I was with her.
That's cheeky.
I've had two of them do that to me.
So do they stay within a family structure? Are they generational? Like we would be with children or grandparents, parents, like where we have soul families. Do they reincarnate within different family people within a family line? Am I asking that right?
I think I know what you're trying to say with this. Yes and no. Sometimes they are bonded to like a particular person, and that's their soul cat or soul dog. And they travel and are with that person multiple lifetimes. There's other ones that haven't found a soul family yet. And so, because there are some animals that come into our life for a particular reason. And so they'll help teach us certain aspects, like the cat that I have now. My soul cat, Rosie, was getting older. She was overweight. I knew she was going to pass. Well, 6 months before she ended up, I had to put her down. This stray cat that was the feral cat that I had been feeding outside my patio came up looking for help. It had hurt its legs. It was limping. So I scooped it up. I took it to the vet. And it had broken its leg right below the growth plate. And so the vet suggested amputation. So I amputated it. And then it's like I couldn't let this cat go back outside. So it became part of our family. And first, Rosie didn't want to have anything to do with it. But this cat just kind of insisted, because it was a little kitten at the time, and just kind of crawled into the same bed with Rosie. And she finally gave up and started licking on it and treating it, not hissing at it and just treating it like one of the family. And that cat came into my life because it knew I was going to be upset when Rosie died, when I had to put Rosie down. And so she helped heal me.
Oh,
Animals are healers too. And
I believe that.
And a lot of times, and I kind of got the sense that Rosie sent her to me because she knew she was going to pass soon. And so it was to try and help me with trying to grieve for her.
So can our pets have soul contracts with other pets? Like my son saying that they were friends in heaven, so they decided to be brothers in this lifetime. Can pets be part of that soul family, make a decision they're going to come together?
Yes. And the reason I know this is because of a horse I talked to. It was grieving a dog that was his buddy in another lifetime. And when I connected in with this horse, it started singing the the theme song to Mr. Ed. It says, I was a dog before, but then I saw this show. I heard about Mr. Ed, the talking horse, and I decided it was going to be fun to be a horse. So it came back as a horse. His dog pal came back with him, and then because horses live a lot longer than dogs do, his dog pal passed, and so he was grieving his dog pal when I talked to him. And it was, I've learned so much from the animals and being able to speak to the animals and how they live, how they die, how they interact and with other animals and with us. It's just incredible.
And those lessons are no different. They're the same as they are for us. Like the lessons, like they're for us, part of that divine team. That it's part of what I see with people in spirit as well too. Like the messages of unconditional love, the messages of living joyfully and in the moment. Those messages seem to be the same.
Yes, pretty much. And also loving ourselves and having confidence in ourselves and knowing that we are enough just as we are. Because often we're beating ourselves up because, we didn't do this right. We didn't do that right. And it's like, no, that's not important.
I spelled Jean with one N because I was thinking of my grandma and how much I missed her and her dog Jinx, who was my go-to person. I'm so sorry that I did that. I'm going to come up. There are so many comments that I want to be able to share with you. So thanks, guys, in the chat for being patient while we have our conversation. So Vet Girl 84 is sharing, during a wild thunderstorm, thunder heard immediately to a split second, so pretty close. My dog and 3 cats were sitting at the window watching the lightning show. My pets are backwards. Oh, like they were saying, like, are you watching this, Mom? You know what? My 2 dogs love thunder too. They don't freak out with the thunder or fireworks.
And often when they do, that's because of a past life. Often they were like war dogs or something like that. And that's where, their ears are a lot more in tune than ours are. And so I've had to cut off past lives with dogs that have been afraid of the rain or been afraid of loud noises, and then they're fine.
That's interesting. I'm going to have to lean in because mine don't like the sound of bicycles or scooters on the sound of the wheels on the sidewalk, but they don't mind the thunder or lightning or fireworks. Sparky is asking, okay, so let me pull this up. Question. So many religions, pets are more of a guide and teachers, like familiars, if you will. Do you think we have different pets to help us on our path as we go through life?
You can. Some people don't have pets, and that's their choice. Those that do have pets, we are always learning and growing, and because they're here to help heal us, they're help to teach us, they're help to bring us joy, they're sometimes our guides, they're sometimes our catalysts, they're sometimes the bridge. And I probably wouldn't be doing this if I hadn't had animals in my life. They kind of pushed me in this direction.
So that's interesting. So I want to get to this. There's a backlog of comments. So I'm going to come down these comments and then we're going to come back to just wait, I'm going to make a note. It's my ADHD so I don't go squirrel on Red Bull. Okay. Note written. Laura Lee is sharing, animals also grieve. Julie, I've been so grateful that you've been able to help with my late son Justin's cat Sophie, I know that you've helped Laura Lee so much. Christina Watts is sharing, that's so good to hear. Thank you for sharing that perspective on death and pain. That's comforting. Jody Schott is sharing, when I was a teenager, I had a Dalmatian that had epilepsy. She was on medication until my family realized that playing music very low all day stopped her seizures. Oh, wow.
Music can be very healing. The frequency of it can heal organs. It can heal so much.
Sparky is sharing, I had so many fur babies, 6 at one time. Now I've got 2, but they each help me and my family through times in different ways. Do you find the same thing?
Absolutely. Often animal will show up, right? Either when we're having a difficult time or when we're getting ready to go through a difficult time, and they help us through it. They help show us unconditional love. They help give us hope. And they're our support system. They are support animals that are there to help us through the tough times.
Thank you. Carrie is, and I've lost this. Let's come back up. Carrie is sharing, yes, animals do grieve. Our cat actually shed tears out of her eyes watching our dog the night before we put her to sleep. She knew she was going to pass already. Oh, my heart.
Yeah, the animals will communicate telepathically, and often the animals will know before the humans do.
Carrie, thank you for sharing that. It's tugging on my heartstrings for sure. Animals are very special and they teach us so much. Agreed, Sparky. Animals are perfect examples of unconditional love as well as living in the now, says Laura Lee.
Yes.
Colleen Ramsey, thank you so much for being here. It's good to see you. Colleen is sharing, I have 2 dogs. One is so strong-willed and has a yeah, whatever, watch this sort of attitude. The other caters to me, needs me to be happy always, and will do anything for my happiness. Anything for happiness, like my first dog. I've always said he is Wagner reincarnate. So can pets reincarnate to come back to us in the same lifetime?
Yes. One of my cats was a reincarnation of, Rosie, the one I talked about earlier, was a reincarnation of a cat I had earlier in my life.
I've learned a lot from having Spirit Switchboard and having guests on like yourself. I've learned so much, because I know that the topic of reincarnation, and if a parent could become a pet or a grandpa show up as, the stray cat that showed up within 2 days after them passing, I had not thought of that. Even though I'm talking to Spirit all the time, I never thought to pose those questions before. And I'm learning a lot now. And I would have kind of poo-pooed that.
Yeah.
Sorry for
if
being
we lose a, sorry.
Oh, I said sorry for being an arsehole about that. We'll roll back the salty words at the same time.
No, often if we lose a parent or a brother or sister or a grandparent, often they'll send an animal into our lives to help us to grieve their loss. Often the animals that show up after a person's death are to help us heal.
So not necessarily, sorry, Julie. So not necessarily our parent is that cat? They were sent by or is there a possibility that we can reincarnate as an animal?
Well, I believe anything's possible. But normally if they just passed, they've got to go through their life review and all that good stuff.
Right.
And so they'll often send an animal to help comfort us during that
Gotcha.
time.
Michelle Plummer has a really great question. What happens for pets that survive their humans and their grief journey?
Well, they grieve just like humans do. They suffer the loss of the human that was their guardian. And it takes them a while to adjust to a new human. But if they were supposed to survive their human, their soul already knows that. And so they already know that they're going to be going to this other family or into this shelter to be adopted, or whatever the case may be, or another family member might be taking care of them. They already know that. They're at a soul level. Their human or their physical level, their 3D body doesn't necessarily know that, and they grieve and things like that. But their higher self, their soul, already knows what's going to happen to them.
So do you feel that animals are already more working at a higher frequency and soul level than some humans are, like more consciously aware and working on a higher frequency? Like that unconditional love, people will say that they love unconditionally, but you can get mad and not talk to somebody by, and that's punishment. That's not unconditional love, right?
Right. Animals are true unconditional love. And humans have our biases. We are not, thank you, Spirit. Sorry, Spirit's trying to talk to me at the same time. Humans are more, they're more focused on what they're worrying about, making money to survive. What am I going to eat today? They are so wrapped up in their own thoughts and their own feelings that they aren't always in the now. Animals are always in the now. They don't worry about the future. They don't worry about, what they did in the past. They're just in the now.
Mm-hmm.
And just so full of unconditional love, no matter what happened to them during their lifetime. I do believe that they operate on a higher frequency than us and are more advanced, because we still have so much to learn as far as unconditional love.
Yeah.
We can have unconditional love for a pet, but for other humans, we don't have unconditional love for every human out there.
This is true.
No matter how hard we try.
I agree. Christina, you're articulating that beautifully. Thank you. Christina is sharing humans have more ego concerns.
Most definitely.
Kay Robinson, I want to come back up. So true. Out of the blue, I had an opportunity to work with a horse 3 years ago this fall when I was hitting rock bottom. He got me through the worst time in my life. Thank you for sharing that with us. Sparky is sharing old school thought. Would you not agree that animals are more pure in thought, in love, in devotion, and family?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hello, Heidi. Thank you for being here. Oh, Carrie, that's super funny. You are right. So Carrie Fast is sharing animals can pout and give silent treatment. When I picked her up from the vet, she was still in the kennel and turned her back to me when she saw me. She didn't like the dental work she needed.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's so funny. You're right. You're
My cat
right.
used to go on a diet. She was like 20 pounds, and she told me, no, I am pleasantly plump, and I like it that way.
That's funny. I see that Nora's got a little chubby like her mama too. So we're starting to resemble each other probably a little too much. Leslie, I'm so glad you and Blake made it here. Thank you so much. So our vet actually talked about the being in the now with Miss Nora, and how pets will not remember necessarily the past and why they keep, because our Eartha May did not like Nora at all. So if Nora went near Eartha May, she would scratch her, and she came right close to Nora's eye, and she's like, Nora doesn't learn, she's just going to keep going back at her. So I don't know. Eartha May went with Brooklyn. Eartha May and Arkham are with her now. Laura Lee is sharing there's a comic who's gone viral over his show about his cat Jessica, who needed to be on a diet, and let him know emphatically where the diet could go.
Sounds kind of like my Rosie.
Oh my goodness. What started first, your shamanic journey or the animal communication, or was it a blend of the two? Do you find that there is always a bit of a blend, even if you don't necessarily think there's going to be at the beginning of a session or work that you do?
Well, I started my journey with animal communication. The shamanic didn't come into the picture until several years later. And I always kind of been drawn to shamanism. But it's like, no. But then I watched one of these free webinars, and I had chills all up and down my body for the whole entire hour. And it's like, okay, Spirit, I got to do this. And so I learned. It was like a 6 week or 6 month, very intensive course, learning all about energy and healing techniques using energy. Um, and so now I've kind of merged the two. And so sometimes I use my standard protocol for healing animals with energy, but sometimes I pull in the shamanic pieces to it too. It just depends on how I'm guided by spirit, and I often consult with the animal's higher self and do only what they request that I do. But I work on the physical level, the emotional level, and the spiritual level, and that helps resolve most, if not all, the problems. But my stepmom's service dog had bone cancer, was given 2 months to live. And my stepmom was devastated, as you can well imagine. This was her soul dog. And so I started doing shamanic healing on him, was able to move his timeline. And so they started calling him the miracle dog because he made it past 2 months. He made it, I think, like 8 months before she ended up having to put him down. But during that time, his pain went away. He had a better quality of life. He was taken off of his pain medicines.
Amazing.
But then towards the end, it started getting bad, and there wasn't anything else I could do, and so she ended up having to put him down. But I gave them more time together, and she was very grateful for that.
Laura is sharing, I loved Doc, Julie. I got to meet him in spirit during your animal communication course.
Yes. Doc was amazing.
Agreed.
And he's on my team now, so.
Laura Lee is sharing Julie's knowledge regarding healing, especially with animals, always blows my mind. Sparky sharing, yes, animals can help with the balance of energy, taking bad energy away. Druid thought is in the same way. Michelle Plummer is adding, that's why I love the saying, be the person your dog thinks you are. They
Absolutely.
understand us emphatically.
And often they'll detect stuff in us too when we're sick. If they start laying their head on your chest area, sometimes they're trying to heal you, and sometimes that might be an indication that you need to go see the doctor.
Okay, well, that's not a great conversation. Did you really have to see that right now? Because, like, I laid down with my dog today, and that's the first thing that he did with me was he moved his, and every time I went to move his paw, he kept pulling it back to my heart space, like right on my chest. He would toss my hand away, like push my hand away, and keep putting his paw back up on my chest. And I just like, oh, I love you too.
It doesn't have to be. But if he continues to do it, it could just be that he loved you and things like that. But if they continue to do it, often, like cats will know when a person is pregnant. And they'll start laying their head on their belly.
Yeah.
You know, dogs are really good for being therapy dogs, and or service dogs when like somebody's having trouble with their blood sugar, because it will notice when the blood sugar is going high and will do stuff to alert the person that, hey, you need to take more insulin or whatever the case may be, because they're amazing. They can smell things that we don't.
They are. Laura Lee is sharing my cat Stevie. So Stevie Nicole has done that ever since my son passed away. I'm taking it as she's trying to heal my broken heart.
That is probably very true.
Sorry, did I miss part of that, Colleen? The night I took Wagner to the emergency vet to be put down, he knew what was happening and thanked me. Carrie is sharing Shannon Doherty, the actress, said her dog kept nosing her in the side, where she later got diagnosed with breast cancer.
Yeah.
Victoria sharing Whisper always laid on my heart every night between 3 and 4 a.m. She just laid and purred.
That's because that's the time she was healing you. And cat purrs are very healing. It's that frequency of the purr that's really resonates and helps heal.
I've read that. That's how Arkham is. Arkham has always been and he's so big, and he always lays almost nose to nose and stretches right the full length, and he just lays there. Oh my gosh, he's so beautiful. It makes me very sad. He's had such a rough year. But so we need to include like hamsters, guinea pigs, snakes. Like so earlier today in my chair, I'm getting ready for you, thinking about it, right? Overthinking, because that's what I do all the time. Overthinking the show tonight. And all of a sudden, like right here, this big freaking spider dropped. Poof, right eye level with me. And I'm like, oh, hello you. Are we talking about community stuff today? Are we talking about networking today? Let's slide you over towards the window.
That was probably a message for you. Animals, whenever you see three animals or you see an animal in a unusual situation, like coming down right in front of you, they have a message for you. So look up the spiritual meaning of that animal and see what resonates. I had a snake on my welcome mat, a copperhead snake on my welcome mat when I was coming home from running errands one morning. That was a message for me.
And what's the message? Are you comfortable sharing?
Well, I was in the process of getting a divorce from my husband and thinking about moving, and that snake was basically telling me to leave the past behind and move on. So that's when I moved to South Carolina. It's like, okay, I got the message, and the snake was big. It was probably taller than I was when it was strung up. But yeah, and so that was a message for me.
Yeah, I take messages. The spiders always, and I find, so we get porch pirates here. Porch pirates are a nice little bit of business. They've got their own little business here.
Oh yeah.
I find if I thank the spiders out on my porch at the beginning of spring, I have, because the spiders are doing their job in protecting my porch.
Awesome.
I love it when skunks show up, and everyone laughs at me, but I love it when skunks show up. It's like a little reminder, like that I, well, am bigger than I think I am, and that I can command respect. That's how I see skunks. Whoop, whoop, gonna strut with confidence, right?
Yep.
Oh, Lordly's saying mine was bees yesterday. Our mutual friend Leanne, Julie, realized that while we were speaking yesterday. Oh yeah, I love, still not happy with spiders. Granaro the Hunter, I'm sorry. Okay, there was another one. Oh yeah, 25-pound Shep. Oh, Sparky. Okay, station ID time. Thank you so much, Wiz, for reminding me, because I know that we neglected. So I'm going to do our station ID and then we'll pop right back into our conversation. So if you are just joining us now, thank you so much for being here. You are listening to Spirit Switchboard. And I'm your host, Kerrilynn Shellhorn, and you are listening to us live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 in the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans. If you are liking what United Public Radio Network has to offer, there are so many different shows. There are thousands of archives, and you can head to the uprntalkradio.com website to find out more about the host and shows, listen to all those archives. Please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing, letting your friends know about the show. I appreciate all of you. And just a heads up that next week will not be a live show. Next week is going to be a replay. I am participating with a fundraiser next Friday, so we will not be doing a live show. And today's guest is Julie Bassett, shamanic practitioner and animal communicator. Thank you for being here, Julie.
Thank you for having me.
Sparky is sharing, skunks are fine. I've wrangled them out of the area so many times. They are really easygoing. So they just move if you don't press them. Wow. I always just say hello. Thank you so much for the little message. I understand what I'm needing to do. Now you can move on. Thank you very much.
And often when you get the message, they leave. I had that with ants recently in my kitchen. I got the message from them and said, okay, you can leave now. And the next day they were gone.
Yeah, that's what I find too with all of them. Yeah. Yep. For sure. Okay. I know a question that I had for you. because I was thinking about my answers to the same sort of question. So a book or a film that shaped your view on animals or pet afterlife as well too.
Oh, goodness.
As a kid, for me, it was Ricky Tikki Tavi and Wilbur.
Oh, Wilbur, yes. Rin Tin Tin.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess when I was really little, Bambi.
Oh, yes. That one really affected me too as a little kid. That one was a big one. And then when my kids were born, Charlotte's Web. Yeah, thank you, Laura.
Yeah. Yeah.
Charlotte's Web. I just can remember that Wilbur was the name. But Charlotte's Web for sure. And Watership Down. Watership Down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was another one that really was impactful. When my kids were younger, the movie Babe really affected them, right? About the pig, the farmer with the pig. He's like, the movie White Fang. Yes.
Yeah, I haven't seen Babe or White Fang, I don't believe.
Oh, Babe is a good one. I'm having like foggy brain, but Never Cry Wolf. I read that when I was actually much younger than what my dad gave it to me. I think I was 10 when I was reading that book. Never Cry Wolf by Farley Mowat. Right? Watership Down made me cry really hard too. And the Never Cry Wolf one. And I've always been very connected to wolves ever since. So do you think that our spirit animals, so same thing that was the question. Sorry. I'm going to back up. I'm having a squirrel moment. I'm really sorry. I'll take a breath and try to ground. Maybe we need to pull out the tuning forks. Do our pets have a divine team and spirit guides the same way that we do?
I believe they do. And a wolf is one of your power animals.
Thank you. I feel that. I did a retreat event with a yoga teacher, and we brought people to a place outside of Haliburton, Ontario, right close to where there's a wolf sanctuary. And so we included the wolf sanctuary as part of the retreat, where we would take them out to the wolf sanctuary. And it was in the fall, and it was right during hunting time. Now, I grew up with hunters and trappers and on a farm. So I understood using the whole animal and having gratitude for all of that and their role, understanding, right? So when we got there to the wolf retreat, a hunter had dropped off all of the carcasses and the bits that they weren't going to use for the wolves to be fed. And they got fed when we were there. And there were some people that were not really okay with that. And for us, it was just it's part of nature. And we're watching how this is all sort of unfolding. And it was fascinating watching the hierarchy with the alpha female and the alpha male wolf. And it was beautiful watching that unfold. But some people were not prepared for all of that.
Yeah.
At all. Sorry. So where the red fern grows, Susie Broughton, thank you so much for suggesting that too. Sparky's sharing, yes, so true, the family. So wolf families, how they feed, how they go in line, so amazing. Also sharing, so many say they don't have pets. They don't have pets. Your thoughts, as many know the birds next to their workplace or like that do not have any contact with animals and have that relationship, just not as a pet. Oh, so can people have a connection to animals but not own pets personally?
I believe so.
Oh, Michelle's saying Ace Ventura.
Oh yeah, a detective, yeah. And Mr. Doolittle,
Oh,
Dr.
yeah.
Doolittle.
That's my sister. That is my sister. Carrie Fast is saying, if we as humans can project as I have, so animals very well be able to project as humans. Our cat is my husband's twin flame. Let that digest. Took a while for me to process, but the cat confirms.
Well, animals are often our mirrors. And so if we're upset, then they're going to be upset. So that will knock out the root chakra when, because if you are under more stress or under more having a bunch of changes going on in your life, it can knock out your fur baby's root chakra, and they can be upset and stressed and things like that. So it's always a good thing to see what's going on in your life first and make changes to help calm you down. Because often when animals are misbehaving or acting stressed or anxious, it's often a reflection of us, and it's often a, hey, you're doing this. It's often a cry for help, for you to see what's going on and for you to be present. And when they start acting up, it's like, okay, something's wrong. I want your attention now, so that you don't focus on all that you're overthinking and stressed about. You can focus on me.
I love that. And like my understanding with twin flame is it's a part of our soul or our spirit in that other person mirroring to us where healing needs to take place, or that back and forth.
I'm not that familiar with twin flames. I'm familiar with soulmates. I know there is a difference between the two, and I know that animals can be our soulmates, so I can imagine they can be our twin flames as well.
Okay. So you know what? I muck up pronouncing things all the time. So we're just going to establish this now, as I'm about to muck this up, and I apologize. Granero the hunter. I don't have a pet, but I do connect with our local dog and cats and feed the birds in the park. Is that what you're talking about? As it does calm me for sure. I do feel like people who have allergies and can't have pets still, and animals will still show up. I think that we still can connect with animals even if we don't have a pet.
Absolutely. Squirrels outside, the birds outside, the being strays every once in a while. Yeah.
James is sharing, living here in the woods. I have birds fly into my cabin all the time. Are they the same type of birds or different types of birds? Is there any reason for that?
Well, birds are generally our messengers. So it depends on what type of bird it is. But I'd look up the spiritual meaning of whatever bird that is and see what the message is. Sometimes it's a past relative saying hi. Cardinals are especially known for representing like a male in your family and a female in your family that's passed.
So if we have an intention and start asking the universe, if we start, putting ourselves in alignment to co-create, to have an experience and setting that intention, I want to be best friends with a crow. Like so badly want to be friends with a crow.
Yeah, crows are great.
I know. It's crazy when you think about it. And how much of our belief system about animals or our relationships with animals, and I think that's a big part of it, right, is understanding that we are connected to everything that we see. We are connected to all the animals, all the insects, all the trees and shrubs and people, and it's everything we are collectively connected to.
They say we are all one, but they just think, oh, that's just people. No, that is everything. That is nature. That is the animals. That is the insects and the bugs. We are all one energy. And we just acquired this form, but we aren't necessarily better than the butterfly outside, or the cat, or the tree. But because of our ego minds, we think we are. And that is, I think, one of the lessons we need to learn is that, no, we're not.
And where the healing needs to take place within our family structure, our belief system, within our generational line, even like where our family comes from, and how they have treated animals or nature in the past, and how we can heal and reconcile some of that.
Yeah.
Does that blend in with the shamanic work?
Yeah, most definitely. Most shamanic practitioners are earth keepers. We help restore the balance in the environment however we can. We're always grateful for nature. We are blessing nature. We are giving we're expressing gratitude to nature and to the animals and to, like, the medicine wheel, and for all their support and the gifts that they give us.
Do you feel it's important to look at how our ancestors affected the land, or shifted and changed, hurt when they came here, like where we came from? So how they've affected and how that has spread out. So looking at our past and where our family came from, where they landed, maybe what belief systems and how they've affected the land or animals, and doing healing work all the way back. Would that be?
I've done generational healing before, or ancestral healing, along the family lines. Yeah.
I think that's important.
But the thing is, the more evolved we get, the more we're building, the more we're destroying the land, the more we're destroying the air, the water, the more we're polluting. And so whenever we're having these floods and the fires, it's nature trying to rebalance itself. And as hard as it is for us to understand that, Mother Nature doesn't need us. We need Mother Nature.
Yeah, agreed. James is sharing, we don't own the earth, we are a part of it. He also is adding the birds that are popping into his cabin on the mountain is nuthatches and finches.
Yeah, look up the spiritual meaning. I don't know off the top of my head what those could represent, but every animal has a spiritual meaning. And just look through and see what resonates with you, because they definitely have a message for you if they're coming into your house.
Susie is sharing, those are busy and curious little birds. Sue Ecker, thank you so much for being here. She is sharing, my daughter's dog has started having episodes or seizures. The neurologist at the vet clinic can't figure it out. My daughter is anxious and stressed. Can that cause the dog more episodes or seizures? There was also, Sue, I hope it's, are you okay if I expand just a wee tiny bit in that? Because they also have suffered a very deep personal loss, a family member in that home.
Well, I know that, yes, it possibly could, especially if it's something recent that's been occurring since that has happened. But I know in the past I've been able to prevent an animal from getting seizures. And after I worked on this animal, I was able to reconnect the neurologic pathways, because there was like a gap in the synapses that I saw. And so it's been probably 2 or 3 years now, and that animal hasn't had a seizure since.
That's wild. So would you feel, if part of a soul contract in this moment, that it's also important for personal awareness and steps in healing as well too? Like if we are working on our pet, that we also have to be working on ourselves as well too, so that we don't fix this, but the rest of the problem that's within the house can still, do you know what, I'm not asking that well, but do you know what I mean?
Since
Like,
they're a reflection of us, do we need to be working on ourselves as well?
yeah.
I do believe so, yes. And I think that's one of the reasons why I also became a shamanic practitioner, because now I can both work on the animals and the humans as well.
Yeah.
Because we all come from trauma in our childhood or whatever, or from family trauma. I don't know that there's anybody that hasn't had some sort of trauma in their life. Some are worse than others. And, so there's always something, it seems like, to heal.
And so it's not always going to be the same root cause. Like Arkham's seizure that he had, our cat seizure that he had last summer, is not going to necessarily have the same root cause as Sue Ecker's daughter's dog's seizures. Like the seizures are going to be more reflective to whatever's going on within for that pet and that family structure.
Could be, but all of the physical issues that people have originate with stuck emotions. Like if you have
Agreed.
pain in your right knee, that's some issues with your dad. Some problems you had with your dad that's not resolved, that you need to resolve, and then the knee pain goes away.
Yeah. I found this really cool, because I agree with you. Like in doing energetic cord cutting for people, like when I'm doing work, I can feel it physically. So then I know exactly the organ and where I'm needing to go. But I've never thought about tapping into animals the same way. So when I'm doing that with people, you can feel it. And then I had never even thought about our teeth. And then I found this holistic dentist who mapped out our teeth and the organs and the emotions that are attached to each individual tooth. And that was like, holy heck, that makes a whole lot of sense, because that was even showing up. And I had never thought about.
Same thing with the palm of your hand. You'd be amazed at all the information that's in the palm of your hand.
Mm.
And your feet.
I'm amazed now. Like, I never thought. So, Laura Lee, I agree. I've seen some remarkable healing you've been able to facilitate, Julie, and she's sharing Roxy's change was incredible. James is asking, is there a tribe or a clan that you are familiar with or that you call your people? If you're...
I studied under shamans from Peru, Chile, and the Andes Mountains. So I'm connected through ritual and lineage to the shamans of South America, to those regions, the Quechua. So yeah, I'm associated with them, but I've studied under some other shamans as well that, like Sandra Ingerman and Alberto Velodo and Joan Wilcox, and there's another one, Rose Cole. So I've studied under a lot of different shamans, and I've been taking like the energy healing techniques from each of these cultures and using them as I'm guided through my practice to help with the animals or with the people. Some just tune the energy, but some actually help you to heal.
Because it really is, when we talk about being of service, our ego self steps out of the way and our higher self is working with our divine team, and they really are the ones. We're just the in-between.
I'm just a channel. They do all the heavy lifting. I'm just the channel. I do whatever they tell me to do, and and that's how I'm of service.
Mm-hmm. Was it hard to trust that at the beginning?
I guess a little bit, but then I started seeing the results and how big of an impact it had on people. And so I trust my guides implicitly now that, they know what is best. I don't know what's best for somebody. So whenever I have a session with somebody, we go through everything that they're trying to release, limiting beliefs, emotions, pains in their body, trauma from their past. And I just leave it up to spirit to heal what needs to be healed at this time. And most of the time the pain goes away. They feel lighter. They have renewed energy. I've had one that was stressed and always had high blood pressure. Her blood pressure was normal. She had their doctor check it 3 times because she didn't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor didn't believe it because she had always been high. And then after the session, it was back down to normal range.
Yeah. Because I find if you are going to the doctors and they are doing all the testing and it keeps coming back, there's nothing wrong with you, that there's a spiritual underlying lesson that's attached to that physical symptom. And when you can tap into it, there's a release that can happen. And not saying that not to go to a doctor and not saying any of that, because there is a purpose and a reason for all of that, and a time and place for all of that as well too. But there also can be more than that.
Yeah. And when I step into somebody's energy to feel what they're feeling, and try and heal them or their animal. I'm not a vet. They aren't a vet. Their higher selves aren't vets or doctors or pet nutritionists or nutritionists. Um, you know, I'm just doing what I'm told from my guides. And, I'm telling everybody to use their own discernment, use their own intuition, check with your vet, your doctor, or your nutritionist. Because, I don't know anatomy very well. I worked in the medical field for a number of years, and so that's helped me tremendously. But, I don't know it all.
Do you find though that the knowledge grows though? Because I still would not attach medical intuitive to myself. I still would not. But let me tell you, when I'm in the middle of a session, I sure can feel all the bits and bobs and things and stuff that's going on and where it's attached and for living, or because spirit is giving it to me. Like when we really, like it grows, that muscle grows.
And I agree, because now I'm picking up things that I never used to pick up. When I step into somebody's energy, I'm feeling it in their body, and I never used to do that before. I'm feeling when they've got upset tummies, and I'm detecting when they might have a food sensitivity or food allergy.
Yeah.
And what it's to.
Yeah.
So, and same with the animals. A lot of times the animals with upset tummies and digestive issues have a food sensitivity that our vets are not trained to pick up on.
Yeah. Agreed.
Same with our doctors.
Leslie is sharing. So sorry, Julie. Leslie is sharing, I believe Blake, who is her pup, and I have been together. She's saying sent too soon. I need to cut negative cords from previous lifetimes with my dog Blake. I've tried to have my divine team speak to his divine team. This lifetime is much different than others. How can I help him? Sorry, super technical issues.
A lot of times you need to cut the cord to that past life. There's like an energetic cord to the different past lives that are affecting us now. And when you cut that cord, and make sure that it's gone, all the roots and tendrils are gone too, so it doesn't grow back. Once you have cut that cord, those shouldn't be issues anymore.
How do our pets that are crossed over show up for us here? Can they give us signs and symbols in the same way that our loved ones in spirit do?
Absolutely.
Do you have a story that you can share about that?
Well, like the one I told you earlier about, this dog was going to send him yellow butterflies. Sometimes it's bugs, sometimes it's coins, sometimes it's feathers, sometimes it's flowers. A lot of times they'll send like sunflowers. Because I had one the other day that was sending sunflowers, and she went out the next day and there was a sunflower growing in her yard.
Oh, I love that.
I knew that was from her pet that had passed. But yeah, they're sending us signs all the time. They're still with us. They'll often sit down beside us or lay down with us, when we go to bed, or lay down by your feet.
You hear footsteps.
You might see something out at the corner of your eye, and when you look, there's nothing there, but yes, it is there. That happens a lot. And, you think it's just your imagination that you want them to be there and things like that, but no, it's them.
Yeah. And I think that's part of not taking on other people's projected beliefs or fears as well too, not letting anyone take away what your belief system is. If you feel that you're having that connection, allowing it to just be, and not sharing with people that are going to be dismissive, sharing with people that are going to be supportive.
Right.
Carrie is sharing, I have learned to ask to remove cords connected to myself and another from all lifetimes at the root, because if you don't ask that, the cord can grow back. And I would add, like, doing like a contract break as well too, right? You now deem null, void, and complete vows, contracts, and agreements to whatever the lesson is, and then adding in all directions of time, space, dimension, alternate dimension, and alternate realities. Because I figure, like, who knows where that's coming from? So we want to make sure it's covered in all freaking directions.
Right. And I
so
will always,
it's not going to repeat.
and I will always release a cord to their own destiny, because their destiny isn't with this person. Their destiny is, over the rainbow bridge or into the light. In fact, I released, there was a cat this morning that was peeing on her owner, actually peeing on her owner. And she had just moved to this townhouse, and the cat was scared because there's these people in this house that she was unfamiliar with. And so she was peeing on the owner to protect her, because dogs are our protectors on the physical plane, but cats are our protectors on the spiritual plane. And so I cut the cord to, it was like an elderly man and woman that had, there was a home invasion where they were killed, that were still inhabiting the house. And so I released them to their own destiny. And when I did that, the cat noticed that the energy had shifted. And I asked him if he was going to pee on her anymore. He told me no, that the presence there was gone. And so I released them to their own destiny. And, we saged and we Palo Santo'd, and I checked the cords again. They were gone. So there's things like that
Amazing.
happen too.
Agreed, Carrie. Agreed that sometimes it takes more than once, and sometimes it can be hidden layers, and
right.
Not always a one and done. And it's our self-reflection with them too. Like, we can hit another spot on the journey where it's coming up for both of us.
Right.
Okay, I had another question that I wanted to ask you. A hard one. Fun ones. Oh, a single word you would use to describe the Rainbow Bridge. Can you describe the Rainbow Bridge in a single word?
Peace.
Oh, that's beautiful. That would be beautiful. A place in nature where you feel most connected to the animal spirit realm.
Either water or in a forest with trees.
Mish, you're so funny. Hello, Mish. Mish was saying good day to you too, Julie. Mish is in Australia. I know that you must have connected with Mish, with Laura Lee. When I asked about the word to describe the Rainbow Bridge, her response was rainbowy.
I would also say unconditional love too, but that's more than one word.
Yeah. What do our pets do in spirit? Like, do they have lessons that they need or growth that what do pets do in the afterlife? I know that what I see happen in sessions, but I don't know what else
Well, they undergo a life review too, but there's, because their lives are shorter and they're so full of unconditional love, they're a lot shorter than the humans are, from what I understand. And whenever I see them on the other side on the Rainbow Bridge, they're often playing. They're often in somebody's arms. They're often basking in the sun, doing what they would normally do here on Earth, but just across the Rainbow Bridge.
Great. Carrie is saying, I think of Mario Kart Rainbow Road. So do you know what's funny, Carrie? My kiddos had that game when they were younger, and I couldn't watch them play that video game because I get motion sickness so easily that watching them play Mario Kart on that Rainbow Road, I literally tossed my cookies because I got motion sickness. I can't even watch them play those video games because it made me ill. Okay. Don Davies is asking, do some pets have a hard time crossing over?
No. Like I said, for them, it's just taking off their fursuit and they're in spirit. So it's very easy for them. And it's generally easy for humans too, but we're just so afraid of it that we project that it's going to be difficult to pass. And it's really not.
And then we create it.
We create it.
I ask when I'm doing investigations, like paranormal investigations, I always ask them if they had a favorite pet. And we did this the other day. We went to check out this cemetery, and I asked a spirit that was coming through if they were a pet person, and if they loved cats. No response. Did they love dogs? And I could feel it, right? Because I had felt this dog. I went, oh, you're a dog lover. And everything that we had sort of lit up and lit, like it was all just flashing and I'm like, do you have a pet in spirit with you now? Boop, 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 all lit up. I've asked like if I'm always hoping to connect with aliens, but I'm like, do aliens have pets? Do aliens have pets?
I don't see why not.
Fascinating. Mish was asking, and we have to be mindful of our time because we have about 6 minutes, about murderers. Probably not a word I could use that might get me in trouble here. People who do unaliving things, having pets, and do those pets know what they're signing up for? So all pets know what they're signing up for is what you're saying, right? Oh, James is asked. Sorry.
No, that's the way I understand it. They know before they come down here what they're signing up for. And, sometimes they are put in very difficult situations. But it is to help us learn unconditional love, to be present. Sometimes they need healing, but it's when we're trying to heal them, they're also healing us at the same time.
James asked, do pets ever have unresolved issues? Like some people don't transition well because they have those unresolved issues. Do pets ever have unresolved issues?
Um, I'm getting yes, but they aren't as often as humans with unresolved issues.
Miss Robin Lunan Gibson, I'm just seeing you. Oh, my heart just expanded. Thank you so much for being here. So Robin's question was, do pets that live together and then die hang out together and or with family members on the other side? Do they hang out?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you're here. Oh, Laura Lee, you're right. They do have pet programs in prisons. I've seen that. And there's a show about that actually too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some that are training service dogs for our veterans.
I love you too, Robin. I love you too. I believe pets have pets. I believe our pets can have pets.
Oh, yeah.
I think they can mother. And growing up on a farm, you could see that all the time where like some animals would mother other animals if, you know, that needed that mothering. Dogs have pet fleas. I wrote this. That's so funny.
Well, I've seen little puppies have little chicken friends.
Yes.
And hang out with the chickens. So yeah, they can have friends.
Yes.
And have pets.
She's adopting different species. Thank you, Laura Lee. My brain's not working well today. Okay. I appreciate all of you. I'm so very sorry that we need to kind of bring this to a close. Julie, can you share where, I know that we've had it running along the bottom, but for those people who are not watching us visually and for our audio listeners, would you be able to share where people can find you?
Absolutely. www.juliejeanne Bassett.com is for my animal communication. www.whitetailshamanichealing.com for my shamanic healing, and then facebook.com/J Bassett animal communicator for basically everything.
I love that. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope that you will come back on again.
I'd love to.
We can continue these conversations. Is there something that you would like to share that we haven't brought up yet before we finish?
Well, I'm going to have another beginner animal communication workshop, probably in one of the last weekends of September, probably the 20th, 21st. I think that's the weekend I'm looking at right now. I've also got an animal chakra class coming up where I'm going to teach you how to heal the animal chakras as well. And also a healing through the medicine wheel class.
Amazing. Those are amazing offers. And do you have a newsletter that people, if they went to your website, they could sign up for a newsletter or an email list for when those offerings are available?
Well, those are generally posted on my social media. I'm not very good about sending out newsletters. So if you sign up, I appreciate it. And maybe I will start sending out newsletters, but trust me, you won't be bombarded with unwanted newsletters.
I'm the same. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. Thank you, Julie, for sharing your time and energy and space with all of us and your wisdom. And we appreciate you and all that you do. Thank you, everybody that was in the chat tonight. Thank you for your questions and comments and your support and friendship. You guys help make the show what it is. Another reminder that next week is a replay, not a live show, because I'm doing a fundraising event. And thank you to Michelle DeRoche, who is our network manager, and Joe Montaldo, who is our network owner. Thank you to the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 in the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans. If you guys hang around still, Jeffrey Pritchett is up next with the Church of Mavis. Have a good week, everybody. Good night, and thank you for being here.
Having me.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.